Hello, and good afternoon. How you guys doing? What is up, chat? What is up, YouTube? What is up, Twitch? It's almost Thanksgiving, man. Thanksgiving tomorrow. So this is kind of like the last official stream of the week. We might do something on Friday. I don't really know. We will definitely be streaming tonight at 7:30 for the Nerdvengers. And tonight, I think we're going to watch the Ben Affleck Daredevil. I want to watch a couple other videos too. But then we'll get into watching the Ben Affleck Daredevil, which I think we're going to have to make a decision on if we want to head over to Twitch to watch this thing all together, or I can just stream what I am watching via Discord. I know that's a little janky. Or you guys could all just pull it up on your own and we could all just watch it together. You guys got to kind of like pull it up on your own. So multiple options there. You might have also noticed that it's pretty dry as far as news. I'm probably just things winding down for the holiday season. Not really too much going on out there as far as like big Hollywood productions. A lot of people are kind of wrapping stuff up. Although I bet they're gonna shoot Captain America over the holidays. I wonder if we'll get a leaked set photo of like Anthony Mackie being forced to do more retakes, more shoots for Captain America on Christmas. We'll see. We'll see. But regardless of all of that, there's not really a lot going on. So I thought what we could do today was I will go over why I was wrong about the Fantastic Four and why I flipped on that movie. So when a lot of the initial rumors were coming out for the Fantastic Four, I was like, oh my God, here we go again. And I was pretty concerned about it. And there are several things that I wanted to go over. And I thought it would be kind of cool to like explain why I was initially a little upset about these things and why I have flipped on almost every single one of these things and why I'm actually really looking forward to the Fantastic Four movie. I think that movie is going to be very good, which will be very nice. And then I had a little list of things that I was very grateful for. And maybe we could start there, with Thanksgiving tomorrow. No one is at work here. Everyone leaving in an hour and not coming back till Monday. Yeah, that's literally what I think is going on in a lot of different offices, a lot of different businesses. Like everybody. And by the way, you flipped on the stash. Well, we'll talk about the stash. I got Pedro written down here, and I'll make a little note here. Talk stash for Adam. You know what I mean? Because like I care about my community. Talk stash for Adam. There you go. Are we on that list? You are on that list, but I'm scratching it off now. But no, you guys are on the list, absolutely. So of course, Thanksgiving tomorrow. Do you guys have any great plans for Thanksgiving? Any cool plans for Thanksgiving, guys? Mustaches week. I mean, we'll get into it. We'll talk about the mustache and all of that. You guys got any cool plans? What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving, man? I saw that some streamers are doing a Thanksgiving stream. Like I think isn't Kai doing a stream with Kevin Hart and Drewski? That'll be kind of wild. So I might stop in there for a little bit after I get done with my family stuff. Work. Ooh, that's a rough one. I used to always work. I'm gonna watch over here so I get ignored easier. Hey, how dare you, Jareth? Oh, you got a race tomorrow. Where's the race at, bro? We stay in Philly tonight for the Thanksgiving parade in the AM. Okay, wild. Yeah, I used to work Thanksgiving all the time when I worked in the restaurant industry. And, it's so wild. I never quite understood why so many people go to restaurants on Thanksgiving. But particularly when I worked at Maggiano's, the Thanksgiving day was like huge, dude. Like it was massive. You could make like 500-600 on Thanksgiving alone. And it was all like family style. So we would get like, oh man, I wish I knew how much turkey we actually cooked. It was like an insane amount. And then we'd also like everybody that worked there would eat there too and like have like a Thanksgiving thing before the shift started, but it was hell, bro. It was hell. What up? What up? Smoking a turkey, dude. I think the smoked turkey is probably my favorite way to eat turkey. A good smoked turkey is crazy good, man. Crazy good. Probably like 24 pounds, brother. It was so much more than 24 pounds. That restaurant did like 10 million a year. Thanksgiving was a massive day. Like I'm telling, like that. I wish I knew. I could hit them up, actually. I should hit them up and be like, yo, what are the numbers like on Thanksgiving? Like, what are y'all doing? But the food would be incredible, man. We had some absolutely incredible dishes there, too. I ride 9 races? 9 races in New Orleans? Holy. That's a big day, bro. Now, you're not riding 9 races all on the same horse, right? Like, they switch the horse? Or are you riding the same horse 9 races on Thanksgiving? That would be pretty wild. Nerdcore, what up though? Doing brisket. I mean, I will never say no to brisket. We're frying ours. Pray for my man. Do you guys have like a big fryer? Or do you have a smaller turkey? Fried? I bet like a deep fried turkey is probably pretty good. I can't say that I remember ever having one, but wait, Josh was wrong? Yeah, it's super rare. You know what I mean? It's like I'm never wrong really, but in this case I have switched my opinion and now I have a different opinion. So the old opinions are wrong. The new opinions are right. So technically, does that make me wrong? I don't know. You decide. You decide. I have an indoor deep fryer. It's amazing. Every deep fryer can be indoor if you're brave though, Adam. So like I don't really know. I don't know what you're going on about there. Ryan Airy video, did Marvel ruin Doom? At this point I think he is he's just trolling me. There's no goddamn way that's did he really make that video? Is he trying to get me to just react and make my version of it? Holy shit, bro. No way. Ryan, no. Ryan! I suppose that's facts. Yeah. Yeah. What is your guys' favorite dish at Thanksgiving? Is it the turkey? Is it one of the sides? Like, what's your favorite dish? If you're making a plate, right? Oh, Cool Bear. Maggiano's food is incredible. I tell Elisa about this all the time because like we'll go to Italian joints or we'll get like some Italian food and I'll always be like really snobby about it. And I'll be like, it was all right, but you know, you've never had Maggiano's. Blah, 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 blah. Ryan is clueless. I mean, I wouldn't say that he's clueless, but I'm glad that you did. Potatoes, pumpkin pie, root beer ham. What the hell is a root beer ham? Broccoli cauliflower casserole. I mean, that sounds all right. That sounds all right. Stuffing. Anything without ranch. Ranch sucks. Amen. Amen. So one of my favorite dishes, I like green bean casserole. You know, but you have to make it right, and you have to have the crispy onion straws on the top. That shit is amazing. I like the standard stuff of like the mashed potatoes, the gravy, the turkey, and then I like the corn with that too. Elisa makes a couple of really good dishes. I forget exactly what she made before. I think it was like it was like she's gonna kill me on this, but I've had like a hash where it's like sweet potatoes, a little bit like cranberry, and you make like a Christmas style hash, and it's pretty good. Cornbread's good for sure. Scalloped potatoes, Jedi Mike. Scalloped potatoes are incredible for sure, dude. A few years ago, we deep fried Oreos using leftover oil from the turkey. Imagine heaven in your mouth. Think about it. I am thinking about it, and now I'm really hungry. Oh man, I like mustard. I don't understand that reference, but not right. Yes, react to it. Maybe we'll react to that video later on in the stream. Maybe. I love smoking hash. Really? I find it to be pretty harsh. Ranch on my stuffing? Oh my god. Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is great. Of course. Cooking scallop right now? Nice. Nice, man. What's a root beer ham? Peekaboo. Try tip? What? I'll eat at least 24 deviled eggs. I've never had a deviled egg. What does a deviled egg taste like? Apple crisp? Ooh, that sounds good, yeah. Mustard! I have not actually heard that on the actual song. So, but it's been all over. I've seen all the memes. Root beer ham is life-changing. It's exactly what you think. I don't know. I don't know what I think. What up, Josh? What up, chat? Broncharo, what up, man? Well, how about this, guys? Let's get into a thankful vibe here. Okay? Let's all list some things that we are grateful for that happened this year. Like, what are you guys grateful for? And do you do this too, by the way? So, like, we'll do this as a Thanksgiving thing where we go around the table. Everybody has to say 3 things they're grateful for, one at a time. Right? Deviled eggs with Tabasco. But what does it taste like? Deviled eggs, the goat? What? Are we relapsing tomorrow or what? Well, what are you relapsing on? I don't understand. This community, for real. Me too. So I have that written down. I have the community. I'm also grateful for, specific to the community, the subathon that we did. I felt like that was a really fun stream. I felt like it was really like a bonding experience for the community. I really enjoyed it a lot. I'm looking forward to the Marvel Rivals stream next, either Thursday or Friday. I'll keep you guys updated about that. And I'm grateful for the support we get in the community. And, you know, truthfully, Marvel and Star Wars and DC, from the time I started this channel till now, they've all received a bit of a downgrade. You know what I mean? And I think Marvel's turning it around. I think DC has a big opportunity with Gunn to turn it around too. You know, despite my adversarial feelings towards him, it's true. If Superman's really good, you know, they're off to the races, which would be great. Star Wars is fucked, and we should probably just not talk about it. It's over for them. I mean, maybe they can turn it around. We'll see. And there's cool stuff on the horizon. But the truth is, the reason I'm bringing this up is because even though I've seen a declining in the interest of these things because of, really, frankly, the studios, it has nothing to do with me. I've been able to sustain and persist on YouTube because of you guys. Like, legitimately, because of the community. And the numbers and the things that we're able to do streaming, the support with memberships, you know, it's been crazy this year. So you guys have been just awesome. So without you guys, I would not have been able to survive these years of Marvel kind of being on the decline. What's the typo? Did I make the title bad? I was wrong about Fantastic Four. Why I was wrong about Fantastic Four. I don't know. That looks good to me. Looks good to me. Mas, what's up? Says, I'm grateful for being healthy, whole, and able to provide for my family. I will have about 10 deviled eggs. Nice. Well, that's really sweet of you. And also, I don't, again, nobody's telling me how these deviled, it seems like a lot of you guys are into deviled eggs. It's doubled eggs, and they are gross. I don't know what that means. Nobody's explaining what the deviled eggs are and if I should like them or not. I mean, I'm a big fan of eating anything that you can eat 10 of in a setting. That sounds great to me. So, I'm grateful for the Reed stash. I'm grateful for James Gunn. You see what I mean about this community, guys? You know, all you got to do is look, just take a little peek skis. Take a little peek skis in here. And it's obvious why I'm so fucking grateful. Bobby! Welcome back to the Nerd Vengers, baby. Appreciate you. Use Google? I can't. JL, I can't. My fingers are broken. hard-boiled eggs, cooled them, cut them in half, mixed the yellow with the mustard or mayo or whatever spice, and then you add the egg white. Okay. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Maybe I'll try that out. Maybe I'll give that a shot. Pumpkin pie is nasty, says Juice OG over on Twitch. I'm gonna start ignoring Twitch again now. Thanks. How have you never eaten a deviled egg before? I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I don't know. Here's a couple other things I have on my list, or on my list, and things I was grateful for this year. Man, I'm grateful for X-Men 97. I know it's been a long time since X-Men 97 came out, but man, what a great show at exactly the right time. Because with where Marvel was at and how they were kind of declining, and I said this too at the time before it came out. I said, if X-Men 97 is your regularly scheduled goobly glob, like what a lot of Phase 4 had been, I feel as though it would have been a devastating blow to Marvel. Do you know what I mean? Like, I made this point earlier, but like, I feel like it would have really cut to the heart of a lot of fans like myself that are like, bro, this shit's a little whack. I'm still riding with you. I'm hoping that this turns around, but like, y'all are about to fuck up X-Men and the X-Men 90 show that I loved. That was like a gateway drug to like all kinds of nerdy things. Man, that would have stung. And I'm legitimately grateful for their ability to pull that all together. So I'm grateful for Bo DeMayo. I'm grateful for Brad Winderbaum. I'm grateful for the animators that worked really hard on that series, because that series was something special. It was like the exact reverse of what I was fearing the most. Man, I was just so worried about how they were going to do it, how it would look, you know, all sorts of things. Every single fear I had alleviated, genre elevated. I mean, it's legit. It's fucking legit, dude. Like, really, really, really legit. And I thought that was just like a huge W for Marvel. And so I was really grateful for that. I have on my list, I'm grateful for Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, Marvel pushed everything out of this year as far as movies except for Deadpool and Wolverine. And, you know, there were a lot of signs that were positive along the way. It's not the same situation with X-Men 97, where I was really concerned. But I was grateful for that movie and what it provided for fans, because I think it's like a real signal booster of like, hey, man, Marvel's going to get back to giving you what you want. Marvel's going to get away from a lot of stuff that, you know, kind of sucked. So I was legitimately grateful for that. I remember I went down to Pittsburgh either the weekend it came out, I think, or maybe it was the following week. I went down to Pittsburgh, and the whole reason was because, like, that movie's, like, about friendship, and I was like, I gotta go see this movie with my best friend. So that hadn't happened in a long time with Marvel. A lot of my normie friends are kind of checked out. They're on the, they're a little bit on the wave of, like, you know, if I hear it's really good, I'll go check it out. Otherwise, it's streaming for me, and probably not going to watch everything anymore at all, right? So, like, a lot of the normies have kind of, like, checked out. That was a movie that recaptured a lot of those people and was so good that I literally drove down just to go watch this movie with my buddy. By the way, we had a fucking blast, dude. The theater was great. The crowd was great. My buddy was laughing his ass off. We loved that movie. So fun. So I was really grateful for that. Of course, chat, I have RDJ returning and the whole Doctor Doom thing. I know that some people are still like, I don't know about that shit. But, like, trust me, as somebody who, well, you know, look, I don't even have to frame it. I don't have to sell it to you. I can just speak personally. I cover Marvel. I've been covering Marvel. It had been very difficult over the last couple of years, especially like when you don't want to just farm negativity. I've always tried to stay away from that. You know, that's why I don't talk about Star Wars as much, because it's very difficult for me to get going on Star Wars without, like, getting very toxic and getting very frustrated with it, right? So when that announcement happened And when that plan came to fruition, and I mean, that video is like one of the top 10 most viewed Instagram videos of all time. It was very obvious why they did it. It just immediately grabs up a lot of attention, especially of people that had, like, a lot of my normie friends kind of checked out. This was like, oh shit, RDJ's back. Oh, what? He's Dr. Doom? It was crazy. So very grateful for that. I've made many a video about RDJ as Dr. Doom, as you have all witnessed. And I'm really grateful for it. You know, talk about a pivot. Talk about injecting fresh life into a franchise. Holy shit, that's very bold. I've made this point before, right? But when you talk about Star Wars and they have this mentality that Rey is the greatest asset that they have, I mean, it's just so delusional and it's just so weak, right? And I've made this argument before, but like bringing, you could even bring Hayden Christensen back to life. I mean, it's the same studio that brought Palpatine back to life. You could just bring Hayden Christensen back to life. And would that be crazy? Would people moan and groan? Would people have a strong reaction? For sure, but that would at least be bold. It would be wild. A lot of people would be talking about it. Like, literally, imagine if instead of Daisy Ridley at Star Wars Celebration this year, imagine if Hayden Christensen walked out on stage and all they said was, new trilogy, The Chosen One returns. That's it. Literally, you don't need to say anything else. That would have captured the imagination, and people would have been like, yo, in the same way that I think they did for Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. So I'm grateful that Marvel was ballsy enough to take that chance. It was legit. And the last thing that I have on my list that I am grateful for is Bureau. No, it's not Bureau. It's Marvel Rivals, man. Marvel Rivals. Yeah, the game that I'm about to go pro in. My whole career trajectory is about to change because of this video game. But in all seriousness, look, I love gaming. And I've had a lot of fun gaming this year. There have been some really great games. Like, dude, I loved Pow World. I caught the Pow World wave. I went crazy on Pow World. Baldur's Gate 3. You know, played a bunch of Baldur's Gate 3 this year. Rogue Trader, 40K game, was brilliant. Space Marine 2, brilliant. Marvel vs. Capcom Arcade Collection was great. So I played a lot of games. I dabbled. Dark and Darker came back to Steam. That was sick. I went through a big phase on that. But Marvel Rivals, holy shit. Holy shit. Incredible game. Way better than I thought it was going to be. Just from what I can see out there, as far as like the views that channels are getting that are covering this thing, how much of the views of the official account videos are getting, this game's going to be absolutely massive. It's legit. It's a legit time. And I'm excited, dude, because here's the thing. Like, all of those other games are great, and I love Space Marine 2. It was really fun. But there's no competitive scene for Space Marine 2. Fuck, there's 3 maps, bro. There's no ranked mode. You see, like, dude, Space Marine 2 is great, but how much can you honestly dump into that game and not feel like it's a waste of time? Like, with Rivals, there's a future for the game. Your stats will matter because there's social proof there because everybody's going to be playing this game. There's going to be probably tournaments, professional-esque players, big streamers will probably make it their big game. It's cool to have a game on the horizon that, number one, is like legit. Like, it is a legitimately very fun game. The roster's great. The monetization seems great. We don't have the full prices yet, but it seems fair from what they've said. And also to have longevity with it. That's so cool, man. So I'm genuinely excited for that. I think it's gonna be really cool, and I can't wait when it comes out. Can somebody double check me on this, because I keep saying this, right? I believe all Steam games, when you pre-order them, don't they technically come out like the day before at like 9 p.m.? Somebody double check me on that, because what I'm saying here is like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna start playing Rivals Thursday night next week, and probably that stream will just be going for the entirety of the weekend. So Marvel's ain't it? Ah, man. Well, now that you've said that, I take back everything I said. I'm no longer excited. Nothing I said stands as a point. And because of your comment, now I'm flipping completely. I'm grateful for your ass, Josh. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Steam says it drops on the 5th. Woo! No, Steam will tell you exactly when it's available. What? Hell yeah. So, it'll be out on the 5th. Oh, I can't wait. When's the baby due? She's due on December 28th, I believe. But we think she could pop out at any moment, dude. Liam came 9 days early. And so if Athena is anything like her brother, she'll be here early. Also, we could tell she's getting ready. You know, she's doing like Morse code with her like hitting, and we're trying to like translate it, and she's like, "Get me out of here." We're like, "Damn, okay, chill, baby girl, chill." But that's going to be cool, man. I'm excited for that. I am excited. Chris, thanks for the 10 spot, brother. Says, I'm thankful for Josh and this nerdy community and the friendships I've made for getting me through anxious days. I'm thankful for my supportive wife, my new dog. Oh, cool. What kind of dog? And my new PS5 you chose poorly. And Ranch Vengers, Nerd Vengers for life. Boo. Fucking boo. Oh, you might be able to play on the 5th? Let's go. You know, that's my birthday too, guys, right? Do you guys know that's my birthday? I'm grateful for the Chaos Realm, Acolyte getting canceled, seeing Josh's boobs, and for Trumpy victory. Okay. All right, cool bear. No politics. Noah says, change can be hard, but it's necessary for growth. Having a strong community to fall back on is not something to take for granted. 100%. I agree with that, actually. I think that's why I always say, like, community greater than audience. You know? Like, it's a... Community is where it's at, man. Andrea says, Bureau, Ranch, Reed Stash, jokes aside, I'm incredibly grateful for this community and the friends I've made here. It's made some tough months bearable. I hear you there, brother. I hear you there. Space Trick Cereal says, grateful for Andor. Season 2 gonna be lit. Season 2 might be lit. I'm open to Season 2 being lit. Lucas says, I'm grateful for my wife, my healthy life, job, and for this community of nerds. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Gratitude's such a powerful thing, too. I know Thanksgiving is like, I don't know. I think Thanksgiving has kind of gotten this bad rep of like, oh, I gotta go and there's going to be family and we're going to have political fights and all this other, this, that, second, and the third. But I do think gratitude is like a really important perspective. And I think that if you can really just remind yourself to be grateful of things and to like try to tap into that vibe, it can be very powerful. I find that it's one of the best ways to shift out of like a bad day or like a rut is like, just pick some things you're grateful for. And like, honestly, dude, it can be little, but then like really feel that gratitude, like allow that to kind of ruminate. And before you know it, your vibe will kind of shift, you know? Gratitude is literally holding me together right now. And those deviled eggs, right? I mean, come on. Come on. And the deviled eggs, right? I'm grateful that Acolyte got canceled. You know, I will actually add that to my list as well. Because... and I know this might seem like toxic, and honestly, maybe some of you are saying it because you're just trying to be toxic. But legitimately, when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy and Star Wars, it has felt for so long like they live in a different universe. That they are not susceptible to things like merit, consequences, you know, performance-based metrics, you know, whatever you want to say. It has felt for the longest time like she's just been allowed to basically ruin it and there's no consequences. And with Acolyte, I remember when it got canceled, the reason it was shocking, like the actual reason it was shocking is because we couldn't believe that for maybe the first time in a long time, consequences and like actual merit and like logic that seems to run every other studio was there for Lucasfilm. Now, having said that, of course, we have 6 Rey movies. You know what I mean? So our prize for that is 6 Rey movies. But at the same time, it is at least good to know that like that couldn't just go on forever, and that they did cancel a show which was really not good, and you know, just didn't get seen. People did not care about that shit. You know what I mean? Warhammer shirtless Cavill now. Well, you know what's kind of wild about Warhammer? Let's talk about Warhammer for just a little bit. I know you're all excited, especially Justin. So, one of the things that's been kind of frustrating with Warhammer has been that some culture vulture, like anti-woke grifting channels have like focused in on Warhammer, which to be honest with you, like whatever, fair play to you. But the thing that's been annoying about it has been I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's like hundreds and maybe millions of views at this point of channels that are telling you that like Henry Cavill's mad at Games Workshop. Henry Cavill is so mad about some woke thing that now he's not going to do the Warhammer thing. And it's been so fucking annoying because like, look, I actually like look into this shit, and that none of that's true. Like literally none of that is true. And it's just been so wild for me to watch just every like video after video, and these channels just keep cranking this shit out. It is literally baseless, completely baseless. And in fact, in one of the new filings for Games Workshop and their financial statements, they basically talk about how the Amazon thing is actually going forward, and they're gonna have more details about it very soon. I think they had a hard date of like, if they hadn't figured it out by December 20th, the deal would have went away. And from what I understand, and I'm not an expert on these financial documents, but it appears that they do have a deal in place, and they're going to further explore that next year. Also, the stock price for Games Workshop has been really, really positive. They had an incredible year, something like 100 million of straight profit for their company. I'm not talking about net or gross, rather. I'm talking about net, right? So it's wild. But yeah, so I'm actually really excited to like get some proper news about that, because like, first of all these stupid ass channels are gonna have to be like, I guess I was wrong when I made 13 videos about that. But also because I'm genuinely excited for whatever they end up doing with that. So that's cool. I'm excited. And also I'm excited for the actual rules that are coming, man. The rules updates that are coming in December. I'm gonna like legitimately be excited to play Warhammer again, so that's gonna be fun. Space Trek Cereal with a 5 spot says KK doing the equivalent of taking a shit in a gas station bathroom by 6 Rey movies has enraged me enough to make a project. I started it today. Well, that's good, man. That's good. I mean, it's obviously not good that she's making 6 Rey movies, but look, I'm all about alchemy. I'm all about like, take what the world gives you and figure out a way to transmute it. So if the world has given you 6 more Rey movies and it causes you rage, you have to be able to transmute that. You have to perform mental alchemy and figure out a way to turn that into positive shit for you. So if that's like a new project, or even if that's like farming, a bunch of YouTube content or whatever, you got to find a way to get to a positive place with it. Javier, thank you so much, man, for the $10 holla. Little white heart, little cheersy. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We need the director of Dune to do a 40K movie. I actually don't want that at all. And I like what Denis Villeneuve. It only took me like 3 years to figure out how to say his name, guys. I like what he does in a lot of his movies. He is not right for Warhammer. He is not. Mainly because he likes to make a lot of changes from source material for the sake of... I think part of it's just the sake of like the adaptation of the story. But I think he also is like trying to do the Denis Villeneuve version. Get the fuck out of here when it comes to Warhammer. The Warhammer lore is sacred. You cannot fucks with that. So I do not want Denis touching Warhammer. George Hamley. Lucasfilm need to go on sale for Black Friday. That would be great, dude. That would be fantastic. Instead of doing a stream on Friday, could you give us a video instead? Yeah, I think I can. I think I can do that. Still don't pronounce it right. What? Denis Villeneuve? Isn't that how you say it? Isn't that it? Hey, Denis can touch anything, to be honest. I just told you he can't. Okay, you know what else is cool about Warhammer? Gatekeeping. Like, we sometimes gatekeeping is okay. And when it comes to Warhammer, yeah, there needs to be some gatekeeping. I would argue one of the problems with Star Wars is they did the opposite of gatekeep. They keep. You know what I'm saying? Like a wide, gaping. Space Trick Serial says, I'll be recruiting voice actors. Abridged is coming. Nice, man. Good for you. Good for you. Okay. Should we talk a little Fantastic Four? That's correctly how you pronounce his name, Josh. Well, there you go. See, it only took me about 3 years. Should we talk a little bit about Fantastic Four? How about this? Let's start here. What are y'all feeling about Fantastic Four, man? Where's your personal hype level with the Fantastic Four movie? Throw it into the chat. You got some comments, questions? You got a couple things you want to say? Let it out. Darth Hauser says, I am thankful for Josh and these streams. Nerd Vengeance for life. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Say bye says, I'm very excited. That's good. Okay, we got a 7, we got a 6, we got an 11, we got a 10 out of 10, we got a 9, we got a meh, we got a still worried from Jedi Mike. Hope you're doing well, Mike. We got a 5, we got a 6, 10 out of 10, to be honest, 8, 4, clever, 10, 9, 8. That's actually better than I thought. It seems like a lot of you have also gotten more excited for it. I wonder why. You know, what changed, or were you always there and you thought I was being grumpy at the beginning? Family Hero Talk the day before Thanksgiving? Yes, please. That's exactly what we're going to do. That is exactly. Izzy Adesanya is a Warhammer fan, if that helps you in liking him more. I'm actually 100% turned. I'm a big Izzy fan now. I'm all in on Izzy. All in. Feige said Fantastic Four is one he's most excited for. I think that's true. Yeah. I always have been. Grumpy at the beginning. Galactus will be comic accurate. No longer a Fox movie. LOL. Finally Marvel. That's true. Franklin Richards. I know, dude. Franklin is that is pretty hype, man. More hype for Superman? That's okay. I don't mind people being hyped up for Superman. I'm hyped up for Superman. I need to see that trailer. Want to make sure we're not doing like Guardians of the Galaxy Superman fart jokes on the moon with a Walkman and shit. You know what I mean? Like, as long as we're not doing that, yeah, I'm excited. MK Matt says, grateful for all of y'all. As the great Alex Honnold once said, it is what it is, and it's pretty good. Oh, wow. Dropping some wisdom. Wow. Female Silver Surfer. LOL. That's in my notes. Don't worry. We're going to talk about it. Okay. So, I have basically completely flipped on this movie. When the first leaks and rumors started coming out for the Fantastic Four, I basically had a problem with almost every single one of them. Not to mention that, but the whole like ring around the rosy of trying to figure out who was going to be cast as Reed Richards, that whole thing was kind of a turnoff too. Because what it felt like, and I don't know that this is actually what happened, but what it felt like was Marvel Studios was like, bro, we need some star power. I do not know about this shit. We need some star power, you know? Because, you know, they were going after, like, Adam Driver. They were going after really, really big names. And then they ended up, I mean, Margot Robbie was on the table. Pause. And I didn't like that. I was like, man, like, when I see the Fantastic Four, like, I want to see the Fantastic Four. I'm not crazy about seeing these actors and just recognizing them as the actors. It's like how when George was casting for Star Wars, they went with unknowns. Even, this is, to be fair, this is actually something that even Kathy got right when they did the sequel trilogy. Unknowns. Because you don't want the actor to be seen. You want the character to be seen. So I initially had some concerns just even from the casting, the rigmarole. However, you know, we don't know this for sure, but it's starting to look like we might have been wrong about that. You know, according to Alex Perez, and this is just a rumor for now, but according to Alex Perez, we might actually see Adam Driver as a variant of Reed in the Fantastic Four via maybe the Council of Reeds. So I remember there was a tweet. A lot of people clown on My Time to Shine for this, and she did, you know, she basically came out and said, it's official, Adam Driver is our Reed Richards. Okay, she deleted that tweet, and we all thought, Shine, you're so dumb, you don't know what you're doing. But it's actually possible she was right. So it's actually possible that Adam is signed to be Reed Richards. He's just not the main Reed Richards. So we might be getting a Council of Reeds. So that's kind of cool, right? But yeah, let me just now go through some of the key things here. So the first thing that really bugged me about the rumors for the Fantastic Four, besides like the casting and all that, was that they weren't going to be from 616. I have an issue with this. I at the time was like, well, how the hell are you going to set them up as the main Fantastic Four family when they're literally from a different universe? You're getting too cute. This is too weird. I want the Fantastic Four, you know? And for so long within the canon of Marvel, we were thinking about the Fantastic Four. Do you guys remember when the Engineer showed up in WandaVision? And we were all like, it's going to be Reed Richards. Because that's how shit used to go in Marvel. It used to be like, they're out there, you just haven't heard of them. That was the whole, like, Infinity Saga. Was like discovering who's out there, etc. So, I didn't like that. You know, when I first heard it, I was like, this is just too weird. Like, what are we doing? How are you possibly going to set them up as the main team in a different universe? Okay, so that was one of the first one. I'll circle back to all of these different points because I want to take you through my initial mindset. Then I want to take you through some updates and some things that I heard and why now I've kind of changed my tune. Kaylin says, Feige is all in on F4. That's why Cap 4 sounds so bad. I mean, there might be something to that for sure. There might be something to that. John Johnston, thanks for the $5, says, Josh, happy Thanksgiving to you and the fam. Have a concussion and listening to your stuff helps tremendously. Not related, but 4-year badge. We can think about a 4-year badge. We can think about a 4-year badge. And also, man, sorry about the concussion, man. Just take it easy. Let the brain swelling go down. You'll be all right. So that was an initial, like, what are they doing? I think you're getting too cute. I don't like this. Okay, so that's the first one. Second one, female Silver Surfer. Oh, man, this is a big one for me. This is a big one for me. Now, context is important here. First of all, I'm a massive fucking Norrin Rad fan. Okay, I love the Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer, by the way, one of Stan Lee's favorite characters. Now, the character actually was not technically invented by Stan. Stan had an idea that there would be this big monster that was devouring planets. And then, like, all of a sudden, Jack, when he, you know, turned in the art, there's, like, this little guy on a surfboard that's, like, flying out there, right? And Stan was like, who the hell is this? And basically, Jack Kirby explained to Stan, like, well, the way you described this, you know, very, very powerful being out there, I thought he should have a herald. But then what Stan did was he took that idea, and because Stan would do all the dialogue and all the word bubbles, he used the Silver Surfer for the like all of this really highfalutin speech. He would say incredible things. He actually spoke a little bit like Stan, you know, colorful language, multi-syllable words. And so Stan ended up falling in love with this character, and it was an avenue by which Stan would put in all sorts of fun, interesting dialogue with the Surfer. A lot of other writers and artists throughout Marvel's history have added to and, you know, helped to build the prestige of Norrin Radd. Norrin Radd's awesome. I think, you know, Norrin Radd is a character in the Silver Surfer so popular that even the Fox version of Fantastic Four, they did that with the Silver Surfer. They in the second movie, they wanted to do that. Silver Surfer had a television show. I think it was either the 80s or the 90s. It's not a great show, but I bring it up because it was something that Marvel knew was popular. Sometimes you just know, like a character pops and becomes popular and takes off for whatever reason, right? I love Norrin Radd, man. I have a Silver Surfer #1. I remember I found it in a flea market for $25 in North Carolina. Love this guy. So when I heard that they were going to do a female Silver Surfer for the Fantastic Four movie, I was a bit perturbed. I was like, what are we doing here? You know, and look, let's be real. This is something that makes some of you guys uncomfortable and then makes some of you so excited that it in turn makes us all uncomfortable. But the reality is Marvel did lean way too far into female representation. I'm sorry. I know it's like controversial to say, but it's true. They went way too fucking far. I mean, I could name you countless examples. And the truth is, just like Star Wars, there was a business reason they were doing this. Marvel crushes, particularly with males. Star Wars crushes, particularly with males. Disney, though, actually does very well with female audiences. Disney Princess, Disney movies, Disney merch, the park experience. They actually have like a huge female audience built in to the Disney brand. And so a lot of the philosophy, like if you just want to break it down to a business perspective, you don't have to get toxic about it. You don't have to get flagrant about it. But the reality was what they were trying to do was take the female built-in Disney audience and get a crossover with the Marvel and the Star Wars brands. That's what it was. They also did it without really thinking it through. And I think, you know, some of the people that were the shepherds of that movement were kind of annoying people. So what that in turn created is a lot of Phase 4 shit that was just cringy with like just trying to build up every female character. It's just like What If Season 2 is a great example of this. Like if you watch What If Season 2, holy shit, man. It is just crazy. It's girls get it done from the boys. Like that's what it is. So when I first heard of the female Silver Surfer coming into the Fantastic Four, I took it as, oh, more of that. Right? Like, oh shit, here we go again. One of my favorite Marvel characters that I just explained in Norrin Radd. I absolutely love that character. Oh, they're just gender bending him. Great. Okay. So I got pretty fucking upset about it. I got pretty vocal about it. You know, it's maybe a little bit because I think the like low-hanging fruit or like lowest common denominator way to argue against this is to just call somebody sexist or bigoted. And those people exist on both sides of this culture war. But of course, it was annoying to come out and try to make a nuanced point about what I thought they were doing, why I thought it was incorrect, and why I love Norrin Radd. And then people are literally just like, you are sexist. And that shit was annoying. So I got really, really upset about it. Now, I have flipped completely on that. And I will explain why in a bit. But yeah, that was one of my initial concerns. So basically taking women exists as ruin. Wow, riveting. Riveting, dude. Riveting on a Wednesday. I can't believe it, brother. That is an incredible insight from you. So you can kind of take yourself through this as you're Josh, right? And you're hearing this shit. You're like, they're not even from the 616. What the fuck are they doing with another universe? Female Silver Surfer? I'm gonna rip my goddamn hair out. You know what I mean? So I'm getting a little perturbed as I'm hearing about the Fantastic Four. So next one. They're the only heroes in their universe. We don't know for sure if this is still true. I think it is, but definitely it was a report that was out there early on. Okay? And the reason I was so mad about this is because, like, if you know about the Fantastic Four, you know they're kind of like the glue of the Marvel Universe. I mean, frankly, what Jack and Stan did in their first, like, 100, 200 issues of FF, it was that, bringing in all the different characters. You never knew what character would show up in the Fantastic Four book. That was a part of the fun. So it was like Marvel's first family living and breathing in a shared Marvel universe. And that continued throughout the history of the book. Hickman does this, Ryan North, Mark Waid. Like, a lot of people have used that concept originally done by Jack and Stan, and they essentially make the Fantastic Four into a Marvel Universe ensemble thing. The other characters and how they interact with the FF is central to the DNA of those characters and story. Right? So I was like, I don't like this shit neither, bro. And so I think you can see, again, I was getting pretty frustrated by these things. The next one. A lack of Doctor Doom. So very early on, it became clear that Galactus was going to be the main villain. And I'm cool with that. I like Galactus. I think Galactus is cool. But it also kind of came out that Doctor Doom, although he is in this universe, was going to play like no role in the movie. He was going to be saved for either something at the very end of the film or the post-credit scene. And I was just like, bro, what is this movie? What is this movie? What is this goddamn goobly glob fucking Marvel bullshit? What the hell are we doing here? Right? And then what is that? 5 strikes? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. The 5th strike is I didn't buy Pedro Pascal as Reed. And I still believe to this day, I've really come around on this. I've actually come around on all of these things, which is the whole point of what I'm talking about here. I've come around on Pedro, but I still legitimately believe, and I don't think it's fucked up to say this, I legitimately believe out of every single person that was rumored for the role, he's the worst one. Like, he is legitimately the worst choice out of all of the choices that were rumored to be Reed Richards. Now, why do I say that? Well, I have seen Pedro in a lot of shit. Number one, I don't like the idea of seeing Pedro rather than Reed. So it kind of goes back to, like, why are they even going after big name people? I think you should do the Star Wars thing. You should cast an unknown. Number two, I've seen Pedro. I like Pedro. Like, y'all get it twisted. So people think, like, I have a problem with Pedro. Absolutely not. I think he's phenomenal with Triple Frontier. I think he gives an Oscar-worthy performance in that Nick Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I thought he was unbelievable in Game of Thrones. Pedro's the man. But I've never seen Pedro in a role and thought to myself, that's the smartest guy in the room. I've never equated Pedro, his performance, or even like the aura that he gives off as that's a really smart guy. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, he's either a man's man, a doofus. If you look at him in Wonder Woman 84, which I thought he was great in, he's a shyster. He's not cunning, intelligent, reserved. I have never, ever thought of the qualities of which I a tribute to Reed Richards. I have never considered those attributes a part of any performance or character that Pedro Pascal has literally ever done. Now let's talk about the mustache. Why is the mustache a big deal? Well, let me ask you this, chat. And I think this would actually be kind of a cool thought experiment. Why do you think Pedro has a mustache just in real life? This is how we'll get to the issue with the mustache. Why do you think Pedro rocks a stash? Why? 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 I forget. Did you watch Last of Us? No, I never watched it. He has a bad upper lip. Holy shit. He looks sexy. Mando. Ugly. What? Turns him into Joel. Personal brand. To keep boogers out of the nose. Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's ask the question in a different way. Why does anybody that rocks a mustache rock a mustache? Why do people do mustaches? It's his look. You're kind of there. You're kind of there. Okay, so this is gonna blow your mind. This is gonna blow your mind. The reason people rock mustaches is because it is stylish. It's stylish. It is a style of facial hair. So does anybody now understand why Reed Richards should not have a mustache? Because that motherfucker ain't got no style. He doesn't have any style. Reed should have a disheveled beard or classic clean cut shave thing because he's Reed fucking Richards. He has no sense of style. So how the fuck do you explain Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards having style? You have immediately suspended my disbelief. That is not Reed Richards. Reed Richards has no style. Period. He's a nerd. He's a dweeb. He's fucking thinking about a million goddamn different things. You tell me what he's not thinking about is how do I make my facial hair look stylish? Period. Terrible idea. They should never have allowed that to happen. Okay, so anyway. Why have I changed my mind? I mean, I just laid out for you incredible reasons to be upset about this movie. These are the reasons that I was upset about this movie as I was learning about it. So how and why have I flipped? Let's start with Pedro himself. Okay, I'm still not 100% sold on Pedro. Some of the footage I've seen, like where he's like, "Who wants to see a big explosion?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, what? You know? But there's one key factor. There's one key factor that has made me optimistic about Reed's take Pedro's take as Reed. And it has to do with the fatherhood aspect. Pedro is kind of like daddy. Feels gross saying it, but it's true. Between The Mandalorian, between what he did in The Last of Us, he's the dad figure. Okay? That's a part of his brand at this point. Well, what makes Jonathan Hickman's story about Reed Richards so good? What differentiates the 616 version of Reed from all the other Reeds that are a part of the Council of Reeds? Fatherhood. It's all about fatherhood. So all the other versions of Reed in the Council of Reeds, they abandon their families. That's in the story. They all abandon their families. But our Reed does not. And in fact, our Reed actually creates the Future Foundation, which is like the think tank that he originally had on 616. It's like the Council of Reeds, except for one key difference. It is about young people and their optimism and the fact that the future actually belongs to them. It also like runs really beautifully parallel to his own feelings of fatherhood and why that's important. That is juxtaposed against his own father who abandons him. And so it's like about breaking the cycle and becoming a dad. So because of the new rumors that Franklin's going to be a big part of this, because of how Reed's feelings for his own son are supposed to play a big role in the movie, I can now begin to see a way that Pedro will be able to do this part well. Simply based on that. Simply based on the fact that that's going to be core to the emotional arc of his character and I think of the entire film, and possibly leading all the way into Secret Wars. And so, you know, credit where credit is due. Pedro is the most fatherly out of all of the other actors that were up for the role. As I said, I thought he was the worst pick, except for one factor, and that would be the aspect of being a father. So for that alone, and because my knowledge of how that's going to play out in the film has evolved over time, I'm like, okay, I can see what you're cooking. I still think they should shave the mustache. But I understand. I can see the vision a little bit more. Let's talk about the lack of Doctor Doom. Man, I was originally so mad about this. It's like, what do you mean, dog? Like, what? What do you mean? So tell me Galactus shows up to Earth, is about to destroy the whole goddamn thing, and Victor's just like, you got this, Reed. Hell no. Nah. Like, that's not true. Like, Victor would be involved. Like, Doom would be involved. Right? But this was before we knew that Doctor Doom was going to be Robert Downey Jr. This was before the rumors and my theory, which definitely was not helped at all by chat in any single way, and I take full 100% credit for it. My theory that the RDJ Iron Man was actually a Victor Von Doom variant, and maybe the whole multiverse was rewritten. I'm like, okay, now I understand why Victor might not be present in this film. On top of that, instead of me just anticipating Doom at the end of the movie and being like, okay, finally they saved Doom for me. No, it's so much deeper than that. Now we're going to get an established story of what the fuck is going on with this Robert Downey Jr. Doom. So instead of it just being Doom at the end, it's now the twist with Robert Downey Jr. and Doom and the mystery of what that really is actually at the end of the film. So not only does that make it make sense from a story perspective, but the oomph is so much greater. The juice is worth the squeeze. So when I initially heard this, I was like, I don't know about that shit. With context, it makes sense. And I'm actually pretty excited for it. Let's talk about the only heroes in that universe. Again, we don't know for sure if this is true. It is possible that other heroes are there. There have been some interesting things we've seen in set photos, like Westview is a thing, and it looks like it's red like Wanda. What's up with that? Possibility of connections to, like, Mr. Sinister have been. Like, there's some weird stuff. So, like, maybe there's other heroes there. But if the rumor is true that even Pedro's Reed is not from that universe, then that actually makes a little bit more sense, because it's possible what this universe is a freshly created new timeline, either from Franklin Richards or from Reed. And so, again, what I initially took as like, oh man, like that's kind of lame. The Fantastic Four need all of these different heroes. That's part of their charm. It might be a feature, not a bug. So it's not like they don't understand the Fantastic Four. It's that they specifically did something that is counter to what you would expect from the Fantastic Four, likely because of a big reveal that's coming. Right? So, again, with this one, I went from being like, that sucks, they don't understand the characters, to like, oh shit, they might be cooking. On top of that, we now know that Reed is going to play a big role in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So the Fantastic Four will be messing around with the other heroes. And if my theory is correct, that Reed and Doom come from a previous version of 616, then their entire comic book history and the Fantastic Four's entire history, their true history, does exist canonically. And it will be important to the plot of these next two Avengers movies. And that is dope. Let's talk about the female Silver Surfer. Couple of things going on here. First of all, I think it's Shalabal. She might even not be silver, or it's more likely the case that Nova is also a part of this thing. Okay? Now, how many of you guys know Shalabal? What story did the Shalabal character come from? Anybody? Anybody? Shalabal. Where's that character coming from? Nobody? Nobody knows? Shalabal comes from a character called Earth X. Pretty cool story. Well, the fact that they're doing Shalabal, the fact that Franklin is so important and that Galactus is so important, the fact that they all might be coming from a separate universe, the fact that the Celestials placing seeds in different planets, that plot line that's in Eternals, that comes from Earth X. That is not in a main Marvel Universe thing. And in the Earth X story, Galactus is a force of nature that is there to keep the Celestials in check. Their plan is to plant seeds, allow surface level sentient life to become like the fuel for the Celestials, and then they pop out of the planet, destroy the planet, and then they go on. So all of that comes from Earth X. You know what else happens in Earth X? Franklin Richards becomes Galactus. So like Galactus is killed by the Celestials. Franklin, understanding that being Galactus is necessary, becomes Galactus. Fights off the Celestials. So that, coupled with like all the other rumors of this being a separate universe, there are rumors that Norrin Rad is actually going to be in this thing, maybe towards the end when they come back into 616. All of a sudden, the female Silver Surfer thing becomes not only more acceptable to me, but an actual interesting plot line that connects to comic book stories that I really like. So I still don't love it. Like, if I'm being honest with you, like, I'd rather just do Norrin. But especially if that universe is destroyed, like, better off that it's not Norrin. Better off that we get to Norrin. And I think whatever they do with the Silver Surfer next, you know, because there's rumors that there's going to be a Silver Surfer project. You know, maybe Disney Plus thing. Maybe both Silver Surfers are in there. Either way, Norrin Rad is still on the table. So I'm like, thank God, we're still getting Norrin Rad. And instead of it being a gender-bent Norrin Rad, they're actually cooking with some comic book precedent. Something they're doing. So I don't know exactly what Earth X thing they are doing, but there's something with Earth X going on in this movie, right? And there's the rumor that the whole universe is going to be destroyed. So we're not going to have to worry too much about it. I think Shalabal will probably survive. Maybe not. But I think she'll survive. So, again, something that I initially heard about that I was like, oh, I don't like it for this reason, that reason, this, that, second, and the third. I've turned on it a little bit. And then lastly, chat, there's this idea and concept that the Fantastic Four are not from 616. This initially really pissed me off. But because of the theories I have about RDJ and Doctor Doom, because of the theories I have about the version of the multiverse before He Who Remains beat everybody and recreated everything, I'm now really understanding what they're doing with this alternate universe thing. I think it makes sense. I think there's a dark secret there. I think there's some Earth X stuff there. It makes sense as to why it's Shalabal. So basically, every single thing that had frustrated me about the movie as I was learning about it, with more context and with more leaks, now it just makes a lot more sense. Now, here's another thing that's going on with this film. This movie had a flawless production. They actually wrapped early, from what I understand. I don't think there's a lot of reshoots planned. I think they did some pickups in Spain recently, but there's not, like, we're not talking about Captain America Brave New World. We're not talking about the Marvels. We're not talking about one of these movies that came out of the Phase 4 mindset and then was adjusted over and over again to try to be more accessible to audiences. That is not what is happening here. This movie apparently went off without a hitch. The word on it is crazy, dude. People are very hyped up on this movie. So I think they got something, man. Like, I think they got something here. And I think it's going to tie perfectly into Secret Wars and what they're doing beyond that. I think it's going to be a family movie. I think it's going to be wild as shit with Galactus and Heralds of Galactus and possibly the Beyonders and the Beyondverse and all that kind of stuff. So, like, I have gone from being like, holy shit, Fantastic Four, what are we doing here? To, yeah, Fantastic Four. That shit's going to be dope. I predict it will be better than Superman. I predict it will make more money than Superman. I predict that I will enjoy it more than Superman. I'm still open to Superman, but literally, you guys think, oh, you're just a hating gun and all that stuff. Before I found out all this shit, I was more excited for Superman. I was like, well, female Silver Surfer, fuck that. At least James Gunn's gonna put hot women in this movie, because he's like, you know, kind of borderline toxic male kind of person. So what I'm saying is, Fantastic Four is about to be lit, dude. Don't sleep on Fantastic Four. This shit is about to pop off. I promise you. I promise you. Isn't there rumors of the Watcher being in it too? Yeah, there are. James Gunn changed the Big Belly Burger logo. It doesn't look like you anymore. Maybe he got my cease and desist. I had Drake file it. So anyway, what do you guys think? 600 million tops? Which movie? Fantastic Four? Oh no, Fantastic Four is going to pop off, dude. I'm late. Why is Fantastic Four lit? You can rewind it. You can watch it on the replay. But what you can't do is come in an hour or so into a stream and expect me to recant the whole thing for your dumbass. Holy shit. It is going to be lit, though. 100%. Yeah. You think it's going to make 800 plus? I think it'll make 800 plus. For sure. You know, I think it's going to make $1 billion. In fact, I'm going to say it right now. Fantastic Four will make $1 billion. Partially because I think it's going to be positioned using San Diego Comic-Con and like all that hyped up stuff in the same way they did with Deadpool and Wolverine. Look, I think the buzz for it is going to be great early. I think people are going to be like, yo, this is actually going to be cool. I think the trailers are going to be fantastic. And I think they will leverage San Diego Comic-Con and RDJ Dr. Doom. I mean, think about this. Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom is in the Fantastic Four movie. That alone will get people to go see that. So you add in the Robert Downey Jr. thing, you put him in one little teaser trailer right before that movie, billion. Easy. 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 And also, too, remember, I do this for a living. I'm basically never wrong. So you can take that shit to the bank. Scratch that. 4 billion. Oh shit. Hunter boy. Thanks for being a good a good sport about it. You know how I do. I just go crazy. Is the Watcher still Batman's commissioner? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. People are going to think R.D. James will be in it, then their asses are in cinemas. Oh no, he's in it. He's like 100% in it. He's probably just going to be in it for like the ending or a post-credit scene. It's possible they do more. But yeah, this will be, I think, the first time you'll see him on screen as Dr. Doom. So, I mean, you tell me, man. You think that's going to get people to go? I think so. Last Fantastic Four movie made $150 million. Is that true? Wow. What a bomb. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Do you think it'll make more than Superman? Yes, I do. I do. I mean, look, I hope Superman does well. I hope Superman does like 6, 7, 800 million, 900 million. Dude, like if Superman makes $1 billion, they are really off to the races. Like legitimately, if that movie makes $1 billion, like Gunn's probably sticking around for several years. They're going to actually like do this thing. I'm just not sure about Superman. You know, like I have concerns of tone. I have concerns of DC fatigue. I mean, look at the gross of the DC movies, bro. Like we're sitting here and we're like, oh, Marvel, this, man, they might have fallen off. Brother, they just broke records this year. Again. With Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine is not, like, fixing the whole goddamn thing, but, like, we're not talking about the same thing. Like, we're not talking about the same thing. The last DC movie that made serious money was either Black Adam or Aquaman 2, and they're both considered failures. But those failures made the rest of their failures look, I mean, like, that's just a crazy comparison. Like Joker 2? Are you kidding me? Blue Beetle? Are you kidding me? Shazam? Guys, we're not talking about these are not the same things. Holy. Black Adam. Yeah, and then you laugh. And DC probably laughed at the time. Black Adam made more money than like the next 3 DC movies combined. Unless you count Aquaman 2. Because I think Aquaman 2 did kind of creep up. Yeah, The Flash. I mean, shit, dude. Tom Cruise couldn't save The Flash. Crazy. Crazy. The Marvels, 100%. The Marvels was obviously a massive bomb. But that same year, they had Guardians 3. Guardians 3 made almost 900 million, I think. Like 860. I mean, we're just not talking about the same thing here, dude. And by the way, none of that really has to do with Gunn. DC has just struggled for so long at this point. A lot of people have just checked out of DC, man. Black Adam wasn't horrible. I actually liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought Black Adam was cool. And I give crazy props to Rock for bringing Henry Cavill back just so James Gunn could fire him. Made by James Gunn. That's true. That is true. That is true. Talk about me instead. What about you? Can't forget about Dungeons and Dragons. I already forgot. To be fair, the DCEU was going in a direction only Snyder fanboys were hyped about, which turned off the general audiences. I mean, you could be right. It still doesn't change the fact that if you look at a chart of what the Zack Snyder movies made in theaters, and then you look at a chart of all the rest of the DC movies after he left, it's crazy. You might be right. But either way you slice it, that studio ain't making money. Like, I'm just getting into DC Comics, so I'm really hoping Gunn's universe works out. I hope it works out too. I hope it works out too. You hear my dogs out there? They're like whining and crying. What a bunch of babies. I actually should probably take them on a walk. Do you think Pedro can really pull off Reed? I hope he can. I think he can. I mean, one thing I'll say for Pedro is I think he's a really good actor. And I think he's taking this very seriously. You know, my hope would be that he probably saw the hate. Because there was hate when he was initially cast. I mean, even people that are chill, way more chill than me, were like, I don't know about this. And my hope would be that, like, as an actor, you see that and you kind of get like a chip on your shoulder and you take it even more seriously. You're like, oh, I'm going to show them. And if that's the attitude he took and he gives an incredible performance as Reed, I'm in. I will admit I was wrong. I'll be like, hell yeah. I still stand by everything I said. But I can kind of see the vision a little bit more. And he just has to nail, like, so fucking smart that he almost appears to be aloof. That's Reed. Reed is so smart that he kind of seems stupid. Like, he's like one of those people. You know? And if he can nail that, I'm in. I'm in. He will act harder. That will work out well. Jesus. Also, Josh, what Lonely Nerds Tomorrow family? They need someone to hang out with tomorrow in the tower. Well, you get into the Discord. I'll be popping into the Discord a little bit. I'm sure other people will. I'll take a picture of some of the dishes we eat. So there you go. Thoughts on Daniel's report of Filoni developing a Mandoverse spinoff? I think that's technically old news. I don't know what the project would be, but I mean, like, yeah, no shit. Yeah, no. I mean, Elon looks aloof all the time. Yeah, I mean, I think Elon is a little like Reed, you know? Like, so smart that he is kind of stupid in some ways. Like, I'm all about us all realizing how stupid Elon is. And yet he's also really smart. How do I get into the Discord? There's a link right there in the chat, man. Hey, thanks, Bacon for Life. I appreciate it. I mean, I feel really good about content. I feel really good about streams. I feel good about the videos and everything like that. I think the next couple of years are going to be great for us. A lot of interesting projects. Daredevil. I'm so excited for Daredevil. I've been doing my Daredevil rewatch. I've been writing a Daredevil recap video as I watch the episodes. I'm really excited about it. So I have a lot more to give as far as entertainment and content. And yeah, so a lot of big things coming for the channel. Oh, show. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so there's one video I wanted to watch. How many of you guys would like to watch a video about James Gunn's DC? I know you guys love when we catch up with how Gunn is doing all of his DC stuff. I found a video that I thought would be interesting.
By now, we're...
And look, here's the other thing that's cool about this. The guy that recorded this video, he's way more chill about Gunn than I am. And I think he actually did figure out a big secret of what James' plan is. So I watched some of this. Let's watch this video, and then we're gonna get on out of here, chat. Okay? Oh, Griff, did I miss your super chat? Let me see here. Griff says, "Sup, Josh? Hope you and the family have a great Thanksgiving weekend. I'll be celebrating Chapter 49 as well as T-Day dinner with the fam and friends. Nerd Vengers for life. Hell yeah, brother. Enjoy that shit, man. And thank you for the support, man. I appreciate it. All right, here we go.
We're all well aware about Pookie. By now, we're all well aware about Pookie Bear James Gunn's initiative in reinvigorating the DC universe with a
I love that he called him Pookie Bear. I don't know why, but I love it.
Slate and having a brand new Superman movie on the horizon. The DCU itself is set to start in just a couple of weeks from now, so them folks at DC Studios are already grooving and moving to get things up and rolling. I sure as hell am ready for the DCU to start. After the colossal failure of the DC Extended Universe and its set of flops, I'll take anything good at this point.
It's like, I was made for this.
But a thing I've been the most curious about is how the foundation of the DC universe is going to be conveyed. What will the established canon look like, and how will it introduce audiences to a new take of the DC pantheon? The inspirations for each project that's been announced thus far, and what direction they're headed for the numerous unannounced projects. One of the key differences in this new canon is that it's not starting out with a bunch of origin stories for...
Remember when this was going to be a live-action movie and Gunn bragged about how many copies of the graphic novel he was selling and all that?
Each main superhero, nor does it depict the age of superheroes as just beginning. Many of these characters have existed for a while, and we're going to be experiencing an already lived-in universe. While they are still telling a grand central story similar to that of the MCU, DC Studios' approach to storytelling is also akin to that of Star Wars, where there'll be stories set in different time periods and places. We see glimpses of that in the first 10 projects that were announced, as you have most of them set in modern day, but then you have the Wonder Woman prequel series Paradise Lost, taking place on Themyscira before Diana's birth.
Man.
Described as a
Paradise Lost was like, that's a really interesting pitch when he was first talking about it. Haven't heard anything about that, but I really hope they still make that, man. That could be cool.
Game of Thrones style drama filled with political intrigue and scheming between power players. Booster Gold centers on a character from the future who travels back in time to become a superhero in the modern day by using technology from said future. It really brings up the question of how the continuity will be laid out and how the events of Superman, Creature Commandos, or whatever project his installment impacts the overall scenery of metahumans and superheroes alike, since they've been established for so long in the DCU's timeline.
So do you know in your head where like the age of superheroes began? Like, was there a Creature Commandos back in like World War II, the way there was in the comics, I believe?
Well, I don't know if there was a Creature Commandos back, but I do know there's been metahumans and superheroes for a long time. But as time has gone on, and I don't think this is giving away too much. There's more of them today than there used to be.
Okay.
And they're more of an issue today than they used to be. So this
fair. Mad Doggy says, I'm DC fan first, so thanks for the DC news. Is Jensen Ackles cast to be Ghost Rider? If so, does this affect his chances at being live action Batman? I haven't heard anything about that with Ghost Rider. Is that a scoop that's out there right now? Because I did hear some shit about Ghost Rider, but I'm not saying anything about it right now until other people say things. Does it hurt his chances of being Batman? Yeah. But also, Batman is possibly going to go be in the MCU now. So, I don't know. The Nerd King says, what's with all the Restore the Snyderverse for Netflix all about today on Twitter? I don't know. I haven't really looked. It could just be a timed thing. That movement, man, they will not stop. They will not stop. And they pick all these different days where they all get together and boost the social media signal for it. So it could just be that. I'm not really sure. I'm a Penguins fan. Hund squat.
This doesn't really have anything to do with Creature Commandos, but it is, kind of where we find ourselves.
Okay.
Getting the super.
Okay.
It's always been something people have wondered why Creature Commandos, of all things, a group of characters barely anyone has heard of, is the first canonical DCU project. Well, apparently it was in development a while back, and Gunn wrote the script before he became the official co-CEO of DC Studios. It was always intended to be an animated series centered on these monstrous-like characters, so when he got the job, he was like, well, the script's already complete, might as well give it the green light.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Yep.
The show will provide our first glimpse into one aspect of metahumans roaming around in this universe and highlight how some villains reflect the more fantastical nature of established veteran heroes, like Batman for example, who we know has been operating as a vigilante for at least a decade. Villains like Clayface are shown briefly in the Creature Commandos trailer, and this is a slight spoiler for the show, nothing too major and is something we kind of already knew, just with a little bit more added context. But Alan Tudyk technically voices two Batman villains in the series, as he not only voices Dr. Phosphorus, one of the Creature Commandos, but also Clayface.
Anyway, I play actually Clayface in this series. So I play Clayface in Harley Quinn. And he sounds like this, and he's an idiot. And then in this, Clayface is a killer. We have a huge fight, and he's a homicidal maniac.
The show also...
That's kind of cool. You guys will have to let me know how that goes. Because I ain't watching this shit.
is the first indication as to why some people are a little confused on the DCU continuity, with it obviously being a reboot, but also maintaining some elements from the DCEU. It's one of those cases where nothing that has come out previously is canon unless it is stated to have happened in the course of any DCU project, thus making it canon. Some events that occurred in previous continuities, i.e. Peacemaker Season 1 in the DCEU, may have occurred in the official DCU timeline as well, but with some slight differences. Because we were all wondering how Creature Commandos takes place after Peacemaker Season 1, since Amanda Waller can't use humans for her task force operations, and Peacemaker Season 2 takes place in the DCU canon, despite the fact that the first season was established to be a part of the DCEU. So to clarify, this is a complete reset when it comes to the lore. Nothing is true canon to the DCU, and Creature Commandos will be the first project set in this universe. But if something that happened previously is mentioned in conversation, then a version of that event or character is now canon and can be utilized to some degree. Take that of what you will.
So what's canon and what's not these days in the DCU? Because obviously, like, we have Weasel, we have aspects of the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker as well. Like, what is your thinking in terms of how that works?
Real simply, nothing for sure is canon unless you see it in Creature Commandos forward for the DCU.
Okay.
Now, in Creature Commandos, you'll hear them talk about things that happened in Suicide Squad or Peacemaker.
Also, who is this bald guy? Is that Peter Safran? So we went from him never being seen and never speaking to now he's being seen but never speaks?
Then those things automatically become canon. The truth is, almost all of Peacemaker is canon, with the exception of Justice League Appearance.
You're late, you dickheads.
Which we will, kind of deal with in the next season of Peacemaker.
Oh, okay.
But really, to be totally sure, everything that's purely canon is Creature Commandos through Superman, through Lanterns, Supergirl, Peacemaker Season 2.
While each individual project...
So this video is actually doing a pretty good job of explaining it. So that does make sense. I still hate it, but it at least makes sense, right?
Strives to have its own identity and tell a compelling story, there is still an overarching narrative that will be developed to some extent. According to Gunn himself, the events of Creature Commandos will have some impact on Peacemaker Season 2 and Lanterns. He previously stated that each project will be crafted to be watched and enjoyed separately, but it will still be a connected universe with overlapping themes and characters. Planting the seeds for some of the larger key players can be seen via Rick Flag Sr., who is set to have a minor role in the Superman movie and a major role in the second season of Peacemaker, which could create for some interesting conflict considering Peacemaker killed his son during the events of the Suicide Squad.
Peacemaker. What a joke.
I think any connections to lanterns, whether they are very minuscule or grand, will tie back to the overarching narrative of the DCU in some way.
True.
Lanterns is described as a series in the vein of True Detective, focusing on
Lantern. I'm pretty excited for Lanterns. I mean, it's a little early out, right? But even just what we know so far, it does seem cool. I've always wanted the Lanterns to like get more respect because they're such an important part of great DC stories. So if that can be accomplished with the show, I'm all for it. Van Off the Black says, I feel like Lanterns are going to blow up like X-Men 97. Well, potentially, it should do way better than X-Men 97 because, look, 97 was huge for the fan base, but it didn't really do great as far as numbers. Animation is still tricky. It's very rare for an animated thing to really blow up and do really big numbers. So, like, for instance, neither Invincible Season 2 or X-Men 97 charted on Nielsen at all. And I don't really expect that Creature Commandos will chart, mostly because it's animation, right? But Lanterns is live action. So Lanterns has a chance, especially if it's like HBO, you know, like Last of Us, kind of like House of the Dragon, Soprano level production. It could be great. It could pop off.
Lantern legend Hal Jordan and new recruit John Stewart trying to solve an Earth-based mystery that plays a really big...
That's a good question, Brick. I don't know offhand. It's also possible that Nielsen was not up and running at that time. So we might not actually have any real charting data because I believe Invincible Season 1 came out during the pandemic. And I'm pretty sure a lot of companies like Nielsen, Samba, Paradigm Analytics, Luminate, all these companies, they saw the shift into streaming and they were like, oh shit, we got to do this. Like Nielsen was still around, but it was more connected into the cable boxes, kind of like Samba. So I don't know. Maybe somebody in chat can check.
Role in leading into the main story of the DCU. It's said to have a terrestrial-based setting that's very grounded, believable, and human. Some of the creative team behind the show include HBO Watchmen show creator Damon
Peacemaker,
Lindelof.
You know, all jokes aside, I know some of you guys like Peacemaker, but it performed very poorly. It did numbers around Miss Marvel.
Ozark showrunner Chris Mundy, and well-known DC Comics writer Tom King. Now, me personally, I would have started with a Green Lantern Corps movie as a part of the first chapter and leaned in on the cosmic space side of things. But if they have some talented writers and this is the story they want to tell with confidence, I'm gonna let them do their thing. I highly doubt this is the only time we're gonna see any Green Lanterns as central protagonists. And having the show's tone be more grounded doesn't mean the mythos of the Lantern Corps is going to be as well. While Gunn said he had no plans for a direct Justice League The New Frontier movie that would be a direct adaptation of the comic of the same name, which also had an animated movie, the story would still serve as a major influence on DC Studios. This has led many to speculate on the major villain of the DCU being the Center or Dinosaur.
Okay, so this is really important here because I think this guy is actually on to something here. So just really tune in here.
Island, which is the primary antagonist of the New Frontier story. The Center is essentially this living, sentient island that's been on Earth for millions of years and has been observing the actions of humanity throughout that time. It views humans as a species that will cause the destruction of Earth, seeing the things humanity has done over the years, and decides that all humans should be wiped from the Earth. So it's kind of like Ultron, saw what humanity had been up to on Earth and was like, yeah, y'all gotta go. This isn't confirmed or anything, nor did it come from any reliable scoop, but there had been rumors of Dinosaur Island making an appearance in Creature Commandos. Not to mention, having the Center being the central antagonist does fit with the DCU's title for Chapter 1, which is Gods and Monsters.
This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter.
And you'll never guess what the fourth chapter of the New Frontier comic series is titled. Shit. There were these group of cult-like followers of the Center who worshipped the entity itself, to which people would hear violent voices in their heads, as the island had pretty strong telepathic abilities, so much that it gave Martian Manhunter a hard time. Many have theorized that the supposed Earth-based mystery in the Lanterns TV show relates to a series of murders or possibly paranormal activity teasing the Center's desire to destroy humanity. Which would make sense if the plot revolving around the island turns out out to be the plot of Chapter 1. The New Frontier is an Elseworld story that takes place in the 1950s. The government had passed a bill that made vigilantism a federal offense, akin to treason, to which only those who registered with the FBI and cleared by Congress were allowed to function as heroes. President Eisenhower ordered the Justice Society of America to reveal their identities to the public and take an oath of loyalty to the current administration. Instead, the members of the JSA decided to disband and disappear, to which other costumed heroes followed suit. Once the center goes on a rampage, all of the heroes have to band together to stop the various life forms that stem from the island, causing mayhem, which include different types of...
And it's like, you know, there's that kaiju rumor in Superman 2, so it's like, gods and monsters, kaiju...
dinosaurs and monsters. It was one of the first grand instances of all the heroes coming together after the JSA disbanded, despite some of the issues with government regulation and trying to outlaw vigilantes or costume superheroes who refused to work alongside the government. There are several other stories in the works that will be taking inspiration from a variety of classic or beloved DC comic stories, and it'll be interesting to see how they get adapted to fit into the DCU. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is the next theatrical movie after Superman, and the story will be based on the comic of the same name. Regardless of whether it will be a direct adaptation or loosely based on the comic, I'd imagine Tom King probably has some creative involvement with the movie, even though he isn't writing the script, considering he's the one who wrote the damn book to begin with. Tom King is also a major part of the DCU and is among a team of writers that are essentially building the universe alongside James Gunn. All-Star Superman is just one of the comics that's being used to help inspire how to balance the strength and morality of Superman. Elements of Justice League International might be sprinkled in there, with Maxwell Lord already have been cast, and the heroes in the Superman movie like Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific all working for Maxwell Lord's company and being corporate heroes, so to speak. Some of the animated shows like Justice League Unlimited and Young Justice served as inspirations when mapping out the plan and structure of the DCU. The Brave and the Bold movie will take elements from...
Man, like, wouldn't it be crazy? Like, I'm just sitting here thinking about this, and I'm like, man, it would be so crazy if, like, Gunn wasn't out there, like, tagging journalists and shit and trying to debunk every scoop. If we just had like this information, if there was just a trail of breadcrumbs and we were just able to just get excited about it. Like, I legitimately think, like, I know it's obviously partially motivated because he and I have literal history, but I also just objectively think, like, let fans be fans, man. If there was more of this energy out there, I think people would be more excited for DC overall. You know what I mean?
Morrison's run on Batman, since that was the run that introduced Damian Wayne into the Bat family. I'm assuming more so the time before Bruce Wayne quote-unquote died and Dick Grayson stepped up to become the next Batman. Who knows what other plot points they got cooking up. They got a Teen Titans movie in the works, and Gunn recently confirmed that he has plans for Deathstroke. He never addressed this, but The Hollywood Reporter had an exclusive about DC Studios working on a movie featuring both Bane and Deathstroke. No additional details were provided on whether it's an Elseworlds thing or set in the DCU, and it didn't clarify whether it's an actual Bane and Deathstroke centered project or just a movie with them as characters, which has led many to believe this could be a Secret Six movie. One thing I'm excited to see is how this universe can not only bring these players together, but also allow these creatives to incorporate different tones and possibly even genres, as I think that's a major aspect in avoiding superhero fatigue. If you can tell interesting stories with these characters and have good scripts, people won't really get tired of them. On one hand, you have a more hopeful superhero flick like Superman in the summer or Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in 2026. Yet around that same time, you got a true detective-esque show about a couple of Green Lanterns. You might have a more comedic show like Booster Gold, but on the other end of the spectrum, you got a Game of Thrones style show about the Amazons, or a horror movie about Swamp Thing. Call me a glazer all you want, nigga, I don't care. I just prefer to be more optimistic about DC's future.
He's a glazer! He's fucking glazing! Alright, so the dude's name is M Enterprises. The video is called "What the Fuck is James Gunn Doing with the DCU Canon?" Good video. Good video. Y'all should go check it out. Give him a subscribe and all that. Ladies and gentlemen, any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns before we get out of here? It's almost Thanksgiving time. It's time to stuff our face and then stuff our toilets. Thanksgiving time. Watch the new Screen Crush video? No. Yeah, I think James did great with Guardians, but I don't think it was a good idea to make him head of DC Studios. Well, I mean, it could have been fine if he just, like, acted like other professionals that had been in his position before. I just think he fucked up a little bit. Did that get recommended to you, or were you just rage searching for videos? No, it got recommended. I was probably searching for something that triggered it going into my algo. But yeah, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do better, Senator. The FF is going to be good or bad? I am pretty optimistic about it. I think it's going to be good. Thanksgiving was last month for me with a Canadian flag. I don't know what that means. That doesn't make any sense. The hell you talking about, bruh? The hell you even talking about, bruh? Salty for life? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. 2025, Positive Josh 2.0. New year, new me. It's a new year, it's a new me. Oh my God. Oh, yeah, no, I just don't want to watch that video, man. Maybe I'll watch it on my own and get triggered on my own. But I'm in a great mood. I felt like it was a good stream. I've got a cool video coming out for you later today that's going to expose some really wild shit that I heard about Hulk. That's all I can say. That's all I can say for now. But the future for Hulk, very cool. Thanks, Kanye. New Year, same height and Josh. What? No! I'm a big fan of Positive Josh. Well, don't get too excited. You ever heard the tale of the scorpion and the frog? Have you guys ever heard the scorpion and the frog tale? Basically, the scorpion comes up and says, "Hey, Mr. Frog, I need a ride over this river." And the frog's like, "But you're a scorpion. You're just going to stab me." And the scorpion's like, "Nah, not this time, though." And then he gets on the boat with the frog and he talks mad shit on James Gunn for the entire time. So if you think about it, you think about it. The DCU slate without Gunn talking sounds so much better. 100%. Yeah, 100%. It's in my nature. Hey, man, genuinely, I really appreciate you all. Thank you for providing me with the ability to not just yap to myself and annoy people, but get out here and make some content about it. I hope you're entertained. I'm trying to do better. We got a lot of stuff planned. Cool stuff on the horizon. I hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving, guys. Video dropping later today. Probably nothing coming out tomorrow, but we'll have some stuff on Friday. Later tonight at 7:30, if you are a Nerdvenger member, come on by. We're going to talk a little bit about Daredevil, baby. We're going to continue our deep dive into Daredevil. I hope to see many of you there. We'll watch the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. But if I don't see you there, please enjoy your holiday tomorrow. If you don't celebrate, enjoy your Thursday, man. Be well, live well. I will see you soon. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Leave. You know, for there being literally no news, I felt like we had a good ass stream, man. I felt like that was fun. I felt like, you know, look, I think I cooked on that Fantastic Four segment. I felt like we fucking cooked. And we got positive about the DCU. What do you know? What do you know on a Wednesday? I appreciate y'all. Take care, man. I'll see you guys soon. Much love. Remember, open up your third eye and wash out that stinky butt.